You've probably tried the diets. You might have even tried the supplements, and the fog is just still there. So today I'm going to show you what brain fog actually is based on research uncovered in 2025 and 2026. Because once you see it, the fix finally makes sense, and I'll show you the steps to remove it too. Now, before I start, I want to be upfront. Brain fog isn't one thing. There can be several big contributors, like mold exposure from water damaged buildings or hormone changes like the fog so many women hit in menopause, and inflammation left behind after infection like long COVID. Each one of those has its own deep topic, and I've got a separate video on them, so be sure to go and watch those next. What I'm covering today sits beneath all of that. It's the big pillars that every single person with brain fog, no matter what the cause, it's the biggest piece of the puzzle, and it's what so many people get wrong. So whether your fog is from hormones, mold, or an infection, or you've got no idea, it's the part you have to get right first. Here's something I need to say right at the start. Your brain isn't broken, and I'm not just saying it, I really need you to understand that. It's basically dirty and full of metabolic waste, and it's underfueled. These are two different problems, and almost everyone with brain fog has some mix of them both. Your brain isn't getting clean properly at night, and it isn't getting the fuel properly during the day. Fix those two things and the fog starts to lift. Let me show you exactly what I mean, because each piece has real science behind it now. Now, I've got this whiteboard. I've connected the main points here. Gut health is connected to all of the pieces. There's microbiome, and that's mainly because of the SIBO, opportunistic bacteria as well. We of course have number 2 at diet. It's the fuel, but it's also the fire if we eat refined sugar and feed it to the gut bugs. Number 3 is the inflammation, and number 4 is the sleep, and number 5 is hormones. And every case with major life changes like menopause, it clogs the system. Even stress hormones fit in here. Number 6 is the mitochondria, producing the cell energy, which really drive the whole body to function. I'll share research on that now. Research is growing this year on this. Your brain has a self-cleaning system, and it happens during sleep. It's called the glymphatic system. And it's the whole job is to flush waste and toxin proteins out of your brain tissue. That causes the fog. Now here's the catch. It runs mostly while you're in deep sleep. During the day, while you're awake and thinking, it's barely active. You need your body to go into that deep sleep, that slow wave stage of sleep. And then it switches on and washes the brain out. And the research on this is now solid. In early 2026, a human trial published in Nature Communications confirmed that overnight clearance is real in people, not just in mice, which a lot of studies show, and that one night of lost sleep, it just made everything much, much worse for the brain fog. Other 2026 reviews linked poor deep sleep directly to the buildup of exactly the waste proteins involved in cognitive decline. So think about what that means for your brain fog. If you're not getting enough deep sleep, your brain is not being cleaned. The rubbish stays in, and you wake up feeling exactly like that, foggy, slow, like your head's full of cotton wool. So you've got two main factors: the continual supply of waste from the leaky gut and clearance from poor sleep as well, poor quality sleep. Protecting your deep sleep is essential at the deep stages. That means a consistent sleep and wake time, and that helps you stabilize your circadian rhythm. It means getting more sunlight to establish that sleep hormone rhythm, and it means keeping the room cold and dark as well. It also means being honest about two things in your life that you're probably doing: alcohol at night in the evening and a screen in your face at bedtime. If you think nothing else is important, take home from this video, work on your deep sleep, because that night shift cleaning your brain is really important for brain fog. The next piece connects your gut to your head, and the science of this has matured a lot. You may have seen and heard about the gut being the second brain, and it really is. Healthy gut means healthy brain. The state of your gut is constantly shaping how your brain feels and works. When your gut bacteria are healthy and diverse, they produce compounds that calm the inflammation and even make some chemical messengers your brain can run on. A 2026 review tied more diverse microbiome to better thinking and mood. But when your gut is out of balance, the lining and the leaky gut, your immune system, it all gets triggered. And that's how low-grade inflammation travels up and clouds your thinking. That's why people with gut problems, they so often have brain problems as well, because it's connected. They're not separate. They're the same conversation. Now, I'll show you some test results. Now, this is where I often reach for proper microbiome testing with my patients, because guessing can just delay the speed at which you fix the problem. A good test shows what exactly is growing in there. Now, one of the most common things I see come back is the overgrowth of opportunistic bacteria, the kind behind conditions like SIBO. And in small numbers, there's no problem, but given the right conditions, they take over. Now, there's all sorts of data here. Now, on this one here, there's parasites, but the opportunistic bacteria, they're in the red, and I see Klebsiella, Streptococcus, and Pseudomonas. This is what comes up in the test results. And here's what's equally important. What feeds them is refined sugar and ultra-processed food. So the standard Western diet keeps those opportunistic bacteria thriving in high numbers, which is exactly why so many people with gut problems, they have the brain fog that comes with it and never goes away. They keep feeding it with the very food that they're having, and it's causing it. So how do you actually fix this problem? Through a probiotic pill, it can be helpful, but long term, it's about feeding and stopping that bacteria. Real fiber from a wide range of vegetables, because diverse coloured vegetables builds diverse good bugs. Clinically, you can add one fiber supplement called PHGG here. It's safe in SIBO, and I'll put a link down in the description. The absolute important thing, though, is cutting back on the refined sugar and the ultra-processed food. They keep the opportunistic bacteria in control. Now, starve the wrong bugs, feed the right ones, and calm the inflammation that fog your brain. And if it's stubborn, when the gut microbiome testing will come in, and then you can know exactly what you're dealing with instead of guessing. Then you can use specific herbs like these, beautiful herbs tailored for you to get rid of those opportunistic bacteria and parasites. So I've touched on sugar and the gut and itself and those organisms, and sleep and inflammation, and they're destabilized by the fuel supply to your brain if you can get rid of those. I showed on my whiteboard the points that connected earlier. Your brain cells run on energy made by the mitochondria. When those mitochondria underperform, your neurons literally can't fire at full strength, and that shortfall feels like fog. So a huge part of the clearing the brain fog is fixing how steady your brain is fueled through the day. And one biggest lever here is the blood sugar. That's the big one. And an example of your first meal. What do you eat for your first meal? Your first fuel for your gut and your brain. If you eat a breakfast that's just refined carbs, like a pastry, boxed cereal, juice, or even a coffee with sugar, you spike your blood sugar. And then you crash. It really messes with your body and definitely your brain. Your brain's fuel supply goes unstable, and it's up and down all morning, messing with your brain. The research is clearer and steadier blood sugar. It really stabilizes that fuel to the brain. Sometimes things like eggs, not pastry, is better. When you do eat carbs, never eat them naked. Always pair them with protein, fat, or fiber to slowly release the sugar. And give your body a daily window of hour without food as well, like intermittent fasting, simply by not eating late at night, which leads your energy system to reset during that night. And it's not a diet, you're stabilizing the fuel line to your brain and just getting a trickle of sugar consistently. The thread that runs through the whole lot is inflammation. And whether it's coming from bad sleep, an unbalanced gut, or unstable blood sugar, It's a common pathway that produces fog in the brain because of the immune response is getting switched on and staying on. We saw that clearly in COVID. Research showed that even mild COVID reaction could trigger brain inflammation and fog without the virus even touching the brain. It was something else. It was the inflammation. It was your own immune system responding to it. And that's where the same mechanism comes in. It's the fire in your body. Now, let's be honest here, because this is where many people go wrong. This is not an overnight switch. You're changing how your cells are cleaned and refueled. That rebuilds over weeks and months, not days. Your cells need time to turn over. Just an example is your blood cells. They live for 60 to 90 days. So just your blood needs 3 months to grow a whole new healthy set of blood cells. Some of these levers I talked about, they move fast, like possibly your deep sleep and stabilizing your blood sugar. And with these changes, many people feel a real lift in the morning fog within a couple of weeks. The gut and the deeper inflammation, they can take longer, often a few months. So you should get some early wins that keep you going and they lift you up. And then you keep working on it and you get that deeper repair that lasts. And here's what I want to bring right back to where we started with that whiteboard in the beginning. If you've done all of this seriously, the sleep, the gut, the blood sugar, the inflammation, and the fog still won't fully shift, that's actually really useful information. It's telling you that one of those bigger specific drivers I mentioned at the start is still in play. This is where working on mold toxins comes in, or hormones like menopause shift that I said I see in women, or the infections like long COVID, or even nutritional deficiencies like low B12, magnesium, or iron. These don't usually resolve, and the good news is they're real, but they need proper testing rather than just guesswork. So if this makes sense and it's exactly the kind of thing, I work with patients one-to-one, and it's where those other videos I mentioned come in as well. So let me leave it with you. The simple version, I want you to actually remember, your brain isn't broken, it's dirty and unfueled. And clean it by your deep sleep, and calm it by healing your gut, and fuel it by steadying your blood sugar levels and protecting it by lower your inflammation. And then your brain fog, the way science actually described it in 2026, that order I work through it, this will give you the results. If you want to find your specific drivers, especially if you suspect something deeper like hormones, nutrients, molds, or gut overgrowth, that's what a comprehensive consult is for. And the link is in the description. If you finally need help with brain fog to make more sense, subscribe, comment, because the next videos go deeper into this system all at one time. Start tonight. Protect your deep sleep. Your brain does all the cleaning while you're asleep. So that's where it begins.